Let's look at the key players, the politicians themselves. Would you say they have adequately discharged themselves in the build-up to the polls?
Well, I don't know what the opinion of one individual can speak to in respect to that question. A bit difficult, but the politicians cannot. The expectation is that as leaders, they will set the pace. They will define national consciousness. Whether they have done that is contentious, and I think this is the most contentious, in the sense that now we have moved from politics of empirical arguments to ideological argument. Mm-hmm. This man represents this, that man represents that, this guy is bad, this guy is good, that sort of thing. So you have people taking very combative positions, which I think is good. So there has been I would say there has been an improvement in that regard. The ideological orientation that is shaping the current reckoning with the two leading candidates.
Okay, I see. Well, you're the in-house statistician, Fisayo. So.
Well, you look at the size of Nigeria and the daunting task that is confronting INEC. We're talking about 768 square kilometers of land. 32, the 32nd biggest country in the world in terms of land mass, and of course the 7th largest population. Let's do a bit of, analysis here and look at what we have at the 2019 elections. Now, this is our Nigeria. Hide flags. This is the landmass. Of course, oceans this way. You look at the basic facts surrounding these elections, and of course, you have the presidential, 73 candidates, gubernatorial, that's in a couple of weeks, 29 states, of course, up for grabs, and then you have 1,068 candidates. The Senate, 109 seats, of course, those who understand that know that 3 senators per state, and then 1 for the FCT, making it 109, and 1,094 candidates for this one. And of course, the big house, 360 House of Representatives members sits up for grabs. Some, of course, wishing to return. Those jostling for it. We have 4,608 candidates of different parties jostling for that position. State houses of assembly, of course, they'll be waiting to see how the elections turn out this time, to see maybe that could influence theirs in 2 weeks' time. 991 seats and 14,785 seeking employment in the House of Representatives, in the State House of Assembly, and of course the FCT Area Council, 68 vacancies, 806 candidates. Let's look at some of the breakdown of ages, because that has been something that, as interested people, a lot of people have said, okay, the youths and the women have not participated enough. The youths have been used more like cannon fodder and during elections and all that. But we are seeing perhaps a better representation of younger candidates this time. Let's start with the big house, like I said earlier. Let me see if we have the Houses of Assembly. Let's first look at the data here. First of all, to look at the number of political parties, we have 91.
Right.
That's huge. Of course, some candidates, some tune it over for others.
You think that's going to be a problem for the electorate? 91.
The names are already on the ballot.
Okay.
INEC says it's too late, so we are going there. And the number of registered voters, like our guest said earlier, 84 million. And we are expecting, of course, 7 to 2 million. Right. 11 million plus 11,228,000 not picking up their PVCs. That's about 13.3% of the overall number of registered voters. Of course, constituencies that INEC is serving is 1,558. Number of LGA is 774. So you can see the breakdown shows exactly the task before INEC, of course, and its ad hoc staff. They were already on location last week. So we see how that pans out. Let's look at some of the, ages, as I said earlier. Let's see, for instance, the Senate very quickly, because that is seen as perhaps where the experienced hands are. Now, the Senate, looking at candidates between the ages of 30 and 40, those days you see them more like councillors and all that.
Right.
But you see 30 and 40, the age bracket, you see 621 candidates, representing the largest chunk of candidates for the Senate this time around, and that is about 33.26%. 41 to 50 has about 527, that's 28.23%. 51 to 60, 497 candidates, and that's 26.62%. And then 60 and above, the experienced hands, the veterans, you have 222 candidates, and that takes 11.89%. Now, in terms of, projecting and looking at the fortunes or likely fortunes of this candidate, you can perhaps capture that completely, but most of the incumbents, the people staying on the seats right now, are in this lower part of the statistics. They are the ones that are occupying the big seats now at the Red Chamber. So the younger ones are trying to get their heads in.
So what one might ordinarily think is if you have a decrease in the percentage of the above 60s who are aspiring to get into the Red Chambers, it might seem that the younger people standing up now and saying, we can be there.
We can. That's what they're saying. They're saying we can do it, but we know that there's concept and there's actuality.
Right.
Because when you talk of, senatorial districts, they are much larger than the Federal House of Representatives because, of course, from every state you have 3 senators and then 6 members of the House of Reps. It will take some funds to be able to move around. But what has happened over the last few years is that the social media has been able to help in perhaps allowing candidates who have something like a semblance of a level playing field because, of course, you can be in your seat in your house and be able to promote yourself using yourself as the driver. Just use an internet platform, Instagram, Facebook, and all that. And we want to see how that will play a role. Of course, not in these climes, but during the presidential elections in the U.S., the one that brought in President Obama, the platform, that's the internet, was able to help him galvanize a lot of votes. A lot of people saw him as perhaps unheralded and could not go, but he was eventually successful using that platform.
Okay.